What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode, Jumping at the Bit. Now, I want to talk about bowl season. The period between December, January, I feel like bowl season is supposed to take over. The NBA is going on, but most people don't care until Christmas Day, which is end of December. But the bowl season, when college football is kind of put on a pedestal. As you can tell from the title, we finally had games that actually matter. What am I talking about? The college football playoff, of course. First game I want to talk about Bama, Michigan, which saw the number 1 seed versus the 4 seed in Alabama. It was a pretty entertaining game, I will say. Michigan's moving on. Alabama kind of struggled with, JJ McCarthy in the second half, Blake Corum, but it went to overtime, so I was thoroughly, entertained. And as a Patriots fan, why I kind of was watching this as well. JJ McCarthy, I wanted to see a little bit more of him, and I will say, kind of intriguing. He's a guy that the Patriots probably wouldn't have to use a top first round pick on, but that's neither here nor there. So I was impressed by Michigan and their ability to kind of play physical with the big bad Bama team from the SEC. So Michigan will face who next week, Monday. And Michigan Alabama was the Rose Bowl. So in the Sugar Bowl, we got Washington versus Texas. Another really good game that came down to the last play where, Penix threw for like 400 and something yards, really put on a show. Texas hung with them. Texas was the 3 seed, Washington the 2 seed. They fell behind a little bit early, fell behind by like 10. So Washington was keeping it as a 2-score game, but they had an opportunity late to possibly steal a win from Washington. They were down on the 10 with like 2 seconds left. Quinn Ewers, Texas attempted to get a pass into the end zone. Incomplete. Washington's moving on. So next Monday, we will have Michigan versus Washington. So 1 versus 2. Can't be mad about that. Facing off down in Houston in the national championship. Now, before the playoffs started, I predicted Texas would win. So I was wrong. And if you've seen, it's not unlikely, because if you see me on Sports Empire Network with Big Three, my picks the past few weeks have been way off. So I'm just in a funk in terms of predictions right now. But I'm excited to see it because we're going to get the kind of wide open style of Washington versus the physical, controlled style of Michigan. A little bit of contrast there. So I'm interested to see how these two play on the field. And like I said, as a Patriots fan, knowing that the Patriots possibly need a quarterback, it'll be another opportunity to see Michael Penix and JJ McCarthy. Penix would be a guy that if if the Patriots wanted to get him, would have to get him probably in the top 10, I'm assuming. Like I said before, JJ McCarthy seems like a maybe second round guy. Obviously, the combine could drastically change this. McCarthy has some really good combine measures. Well, maybe he's bottom of the first round. I don't know. I'll leave that up to you guys to speculate on. But it was a good opportunity for me to watch Washington. I've seen some Michigan games because the Big Ten. I'm in Atlanta, so I see a lot of Big Ten SEC games. So I've seen McCarthy a lot, but it was good to see him on a stage against an Alabama team. And for Penix, I was thoroughly impressed by him. He throws the ball really well. He can move in the pocket. He's had numerous knee injuries and all that. So he would be an intriguing prospect for my Patriots. But the main part of this is Once again, a bowl season has come and is almost gone, with the exception of next week being the final one. I didn't pay attention to a lot of them. I don't know how many of you watched. I would love to know in the comment section how many of these bowl games did you actually sit down and watch outside of one that probably involved your team or your school, depending if you went there or not. But look at this. These are all the bowl games that happened. Once again, how many of these did you sit down and actually watch? And I think that is a problem with that college football faces. Luckily, they get a bit of a, I don't know, helping hand with next year, the expansion of the playoff. But it just brings it up once again. Why has it taken this long to get to this point? You know, the lower division, the second division of college football, they have a 2014 playoff. I don't know if we ever get there at this level. Would love to see it. You have a top 25. You basically have all of those teams playing for it. Yes, not any of them, not every one of them would be serious contenders, but they would add more to these bowl games. Think of this. Everybody's talking about Georgia blowing out Florida State, even though Florida State wasn't motivated to play that game. Neither was Georgia. But the way that game went, it was almost like Georgia was trying to prove that they were the ones who were robbed and not getting in, not Florida State, because all the talk had been, oh, Florida State was done wrong. Florida State this, Florida State that. Georgia's like, hey, we won back-to-back titles, and we didn't get an opportunity to play, even though we only had one loss. But they took a couple of one-loss teams over Georgia in Texas and Alabama. So I feel like that was Georgia's motivation going into that Florida State game. Florida State, you've seen it. All of their, I'm not going to say like it's complaining like it's a bad thing, but all of their noise making over the process, the politician part getting into it, I don't need to see that. But, Florida State really being upset by it, you knew they weren't going to really show up for this Georgia game. Although all the talk and stuff we've seen after that, where they are like exploring their options to get out of the ACC, kind of is pointless at this point, because with the expanded playoff next year, if they win the ACC, they automatically get in. So why would they leave the ACC? Unless it's, of course, money, because that's what a lot of this is driven off of, money. Which once again goes back to my original point about the bowl system. Why have they limited the amount of playoff teams, which would increase money, because more of these bowl games would matter? Because once again, I saw the 2 playoff games. I sat there and watched every minute of them. Why? They were compelling, and they meant something. Because now I know who's going to be in the national championship. I watched some of the BC game because I'm from Boston, watched a lot of BC football. So I saw the Wasabi Fenway Bowl. Didn't even watch all of it. I was kind of out, but I was paying attention to it. That counts. Other than that, I saw bits and pieces of some, because, look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I know what happened in the Easy Post Hawaii Bowl between San Jose State and Coastal Carolina, or Tulane, where's mascot that is. I don't watch any of it. So I just don't understand it. You can keep bowl system, you can keep that. But if you open it up to even more playoff teams, less players would sit out. And we had players sitting out of major bowls. And once again, Georgia, Florida State, that was the Orange Bowl. Orange Bowl was supposed to be a big deal. Didn't care. How about Marvin Harrison? He sat out with Ohio State. That was the Cotton Bowl. Once again, supposed to be a major bowl. But these players don't care about it. Now, if they were playoff games, obviously they would be playing. Like I said, some of that gets solved next year with the 12-team playoff, but you're still going to run into the same issue with these other bowl games. Who's paying attention? The only way that they may get some viewership is you put some of the lesser bowls the same day as your playoff games, but you have those be earlier in the day, kind of leading into playoff games. Maybe that way you kind of steal some viewership. People turn on, I don't know, like the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. But because they know right after it, you're getting a playoff game, let's just say the Peach Bowl. Then maybe that's a way to help out some of these lesser named bowl games. Because like I said, I didn't watch a lot of them. I gotta know how many of these you watched. But hey, at least we know who's going to play in the national championship. Michigan, Washington. I kind of have a feeling. I don't know. It's such a interesting matchup. Like I said, Washington wants to throw the ball over the field. Michigan wants to, screen pass, run game, play action. I might go Michigan. But then, I don't know. Does Washington just outscore them, put up so many points that Michigan's offense just can't handle keeping up? Or is Michigan's physical style control what Washington tries to do? Because Penix is really good throwing the ball downfield. He seems to put it in the perfect position on every throw. Once again, just to be a little selfish here. I know Belichick, if he's still the coach next season and into the draft, but he loves left-handed punters. I mean, left-handed, jeez. He loves left-footed punters. Why not get a left-handed quarterback in Michael Penix? I'm just saying. We can all dream, right? But, all right, I think to lock it in, I'm going to go Michigan wins the national championship, which based off of my picks from the previous two games, probably means Washington wins it. But I'm at least excited to see the national championship. And look, it doesn't even have an SEC team, and we're still going to watch it. How about that college football, huh? Look, I've mocked the NCAA long enough. Although it does kind of really hammer the point that college football needs some type of governing body. If you had like a commissioner type for college football, would we have been further along in terms of expanded playoffs? Because right now it's just the NCAA leaving it up to like these conferences to make decisions, and they're going to have bias, of course. Your playoff committee is filled with a bunch of like former ADs and stuff of these schools. They're going to be biased, although they've, kind of have a work around all that, but it's too complicated. Just have one governing body. We know who they are, what they do, and kind of let them handle us. Let Pat McAfee do it. He's doing everything else. Let him be the commissioner of college football. I bet you he would do a lot better. But that's all I got. Appreciate you tuning in. If you like the video, please hit the like button, subscribe, share, follow, all that good stuff. Really helps out. I guess we still say Happy New Year. It's only the 2nd. I don't know how long you're supposed to say it. I'll say it for about the first week. After that, it's just 2024. But thanks again. Let me know in the comments who you think wins the national championship. And like I said, how many of these bowl games did you actually watch? Let me know that in the comments as well. But thanks again. Be safe. God bless. I'll see you in the next video. All right. I'm out of here.